I am 42 years old. I am 6'1", currently 202 pounds, and I am competing in my very first natural classic physique bodybuilding competition. I've never done this before, and I'm trying to lock everything in because I have less than 6 weeks to go. Last week, I went shopping and I got the food, and this week I'm gonna be going over how I eat the food. Now, this is what I would say would probably be the hardest part of getting into shape for me personally, because I love working out. I love the feeling of the pump. I love being in the gym, the camaraderie, and I did it for years. But the problem was I didn't see the results I wanted, and it took me realizing it was my eating habits that was the problem. So I am using everything that I have learned, and I am utilizing it in preparation for this bodybuilding competition, and it is extremely simple. But one thing I've learned, just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. The hard part is doing it again and again and again, the consistency, staying on track, avoiding the temptation to have too many cheat meals or maybe a cheat day, which could turn into a cheat week and falling off track, because I don't have time. So what I'm doing is I'm just doing the same exact meals every single day. All the meals I'm having are based upon the calories and macronutrients that I am sticking to religiously. That being 2,800 calories a day, 40% of that being protein, 35% carbohydrates, and 25% fat. I've been doing this since January. It's working fantastic, so I'm just sticking with it, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The meals themselves are easy, but it's just avoiding, again, those temptations, which are the hard part. I have been avoiding the temptations, and the results have been phenomenal, so I'm just gonna go ahead and stick with that. Breakfast is a wrap. It's 2 eggs, it's a tortilla, it's some spinach, some salsa, really simple stuff. Alternatively, I will have 2 eggs, 2 pieces of toast, and some avocado, or for a third option, I will have some eggs and some oatmeal. I switch up those 3 just to keep my palate entertained, so it's not just the exact same meal day in and day out, but it's very similar stuff, with the most important goal being that I fill up what I view visually as my 4 fuel tanks. I've got my main tank, which is the calories, and then I have my 3 sub tanks, which is the protein, the carbs, and the fats, with the goal of filling up those tanks perfectly by the end of every single day. And it's that consistency which is the bedrock and the foundation of everything I'm doing here, and really where I found the most success in regards to how it's physically changed my body for the better. For lunch, I split it up into 2 parts because I like to take my lunch break to get my workout in. So what I'll do before getting in my workout is I'll have about 30% of my entire carbohydrates for the day pre-workout. A lot of times that comes in the form of rice or rice crackers with salmon, which is really easy. I don't have a lot of time during the day, so I just whip it up. The lunch itself takes about 10 minutes, and afterwards I go right into the workout. I'm performing a lot of supersets. I'm keeping the rest times very short, no longer than 90 seconds. And my strength levels have been pretty good so far. I'm no longer getting a lot of progressive overload, but the great news is I'm not necessarily getting weaker either. So my strength is staying pretty similar to how it's been throughout the entire duration of this experiment, and I'm very happy with it so far. And having those carbohydrates prior to the workout has really helped me. Now, when I finish the workout, I take what I like to think of as my second lunch, whereas usually I'm consuming about 40% of my daily carbohydrates in the form of white rice. For my protein source, a lot of times I'll just have a protein shake, because again, I don't have a lot of time since this was over my lunch break. So I have that white rice, I have that protein shake, and then seeing as I'm only having about 2,800 calories a day, a big portion of my calories and macros have already been consumed up to this point. I go back to work, and then usually I suffer a little bit waiting for dinner, because now food is on my mind more than it normally is. I'm not starving by any means, but I am a little hungrier than I normally am because I'm working out very hard, and I'm a guy who really loves enjoying food. For me, it's a comfort thing. I view it as much more than just fuel. If I didn't have the goal of this natural bodybuilding competition, I don't think I could have ever stuck to a diet this rigorous. But seeing as I know that I do have a date, it's only about 6 weeks away, it's helping me to make sure that I stay on track, I stay consistent, and I'm ready, hopefully, in time for that big show. Dinner is here, and usually dinner for me is really just checking those fuel tanks once again to see what I'm missing, to see what my protein, carbs, fats, and overall calories are looking like, and then just kind of filling up all of those bars. So again, I'm perfectly hitting that number. I'm not going over and I'm not going under. Alternative versions of popular favorites. That was a damn good pizza, and it fit my macros perfectly.
Hell yeah.
She knows what she's doing.
It's all measured perfectly.
And it really is too. She's not kidding. That's what you need, a good support system. I've got one. I'm hitting my calories and macros perfect. It makes it that much easier for me. And I gotta say, so far everything's going pretty good. This is the big unknown because I've never done it before, but I am happy with the results. And I gotta say, a little bit of age factors into this, being the age I am now, 42. When I was younger, it's always something I felt I could put off. Well, I'll do it next time. But then getting to the age I am now, you feel like, no, this is the time, because you know that you don't have like this unlimited window. And having watched, like, let's say Brandon do this before, he was so regimented in his 20s, and I always looked at him and I always thought, God, I don't know how he does it. And that's the wrong mental mindset that I've learned to have. You just think to yourself, just do it. I mean, I'm so envious of that tagline that Nike came up with, because so many things in life, I do agree, just do it. Don't overthink it. Don't defeat yourself before you've started, because that was really my problem. I was always finding ways of convincing myself not to do something. Whereas now I'm like, why not? Because there's days that I'm out in the gym and now I'm trying to pose and get the right form down and everything. And I start to get a little nervous and I just stop and I go, no, just do it. Get the negative thoughts out of your head. It is crazy how you can be your own worst enemy. You can look at social media too much. Some of you may be even looking at me right now going, how did he do it? Or I couldn't do it. Yes, you can do it. You can absolutely do it, because if I can do it, then you by all means can do it. And that doesn't mean you have to do a bodybuilding competition, because this wasn't necessarily like my lifelong dream either. But whatever you're aspiring to do, there is a really high chance that you can do that thing. It's all the boring behind the scenes stuff. I love that quote. Don't compare your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel, because they're just showing you the result of all the hard work. Even this video right here, this is just a small little snippet of what I've been doing for, oh my God, I mean, in a way you could say my entire life now, but realistically in preparation for this contest, I started more seriously a couple months back. I'm just showing you like 8 minutes out of that entire process. So it's all the boring behind the scenes building blocks that really makes the creation that everyone looks at and goes, wow. So get out there, do it, because realistically, you don't need to do it this intense to get into good shape, because I was what I would consider in good shape for the last couple years. I was sitting closer to like 220 pounds. I had a little bit more body fat. We've been conditioned to believe having that six-pack and that vascularity is the sign of someone who's healthy, and that's not necessarily true, because after this contest, I'll put a little bit more body fat on. I won't be quite as like ripped and vascular, but I know that I'm still going to feel good. But I know I'm preparing for something very specific here. I need to be about 6% body fat, which I've never gotten to in the past, and that's not necessarily a healthy weight you want to be at for long periods of time, but I know I have to be at that for this contest. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm preparing for. If you want to track every single one of my training days, make sure to check out our Buff Fitness app. I'm on it. I'm logging every single workout. You can see my weights. You can see exactly what I'm doing. I love the community there. Thank you all who have joined us, and I will see you either in the Buff app or in this next episode. So see you then, and stay buff.